Okay, I forgot that I had this curriculum thing this morning, or I would have went over this yesterday in class, but that's okay. I just want to talk about our final exam. So I have a bunch of papers that the sub is going to pass out to you, but there's 2 study guides, okay? One of them is a multiple choice study guide, and one of them is not multiple choice. I want you to do both of these to prepare for your final exam. You can kind of decide the order that you want to do it in. Maybe do the multiple choice first. Maybe it'll jog your memory looking at the answers, but your choice. Your final is going to be a combination of multiple choice and open-ended questions. And so you can use these kind of as your study guide. On the day of the final exam, you will get the following formula sheets, which I'm going to show you in a minute. You have a copy of those today as well that the sub's going to pass out to you. Please keep track of them, use them as you're working on your review. And also, in addition to the formula sheets that I'm going to give you, you can bring in 1 sheet of paper, front and back, handwritten on, to use on the final exam. If you still have your paper that you used for the first semester final exam, maybe you can use that and add to it. You can start with a whole new one. But as we go through the review, that can kind of help you decide what to put on your piece of paper, okay? This is one of the papers they're handing out to you. This is from first semester when we talked about normal distribution. We talked about z-scores. When you find a z-score, you can come over and find it on this chart. We'll talk about that in class of how to use this chart and get those values to remind ourselves. The other formula sheet, this is what ISU gives out as their formula sheet. These formulas are written a little bit different than how we wrote them in class. And we'll kind of talk about these when I'm back in class. But just know they're very similar. Like the compound interest formula, right? This is the one we just did. But then this just means like interest. How would you find the interest? That just means interest equals your final amount minus your principal. And so what I'm going to do is kind of write out what all these letters mean, and then you might decide if you want to use these formulas on your piece of paper. You might write out what all the letters mean and how to use them. But these are kind of way nicer, I think, than some of the ones that we've done of they solve it for the different amounts, okay? And then I'm going to give you my answers hopefully by tomorrow. I'm still working on mine, but that way you can look at the answers and then you'll know which ones to ask for help with. What I don't want to do is spend the whole class period of me up here talking and you not really paying attention. So I plan to share my answers with you and then help you individually, or maybe on Friday, the day before our exam, we can kind of do that of like, let's pick the ones that we're struggling with, the ones we still don't understand to go over. You got to make sure you're using your class time wisely. So for the rest of the period today, use your time and work on one of these reviews. Maybe go through and pull out some notes. Maybe skip around on the review, do the ones you remember to do, how to do. And then I'll be back. I'll actually be back by 11 today. But definitely I'll see you in class tomorrow. Also, don't forget about test corrections for Unit 8 and if you plan to retake that test. Okay? Use your time wisely. Be good.